there's a beginning and end.
You're listening to 108.9 FM. Adjust your frequencies, fine-tune your mind and brace as you prepare to fall through the trap.
The universal dream is a dream of magic.
Yo! We're back with another episode of 108.9 Trapdoor Radio. This time I'm coming to you live because I figured it was just a lot easier to do this live than any other way. And I missed doing live streams. And to be honest with you, it's a Sunday. It's a rarity at the minute that I've had a few hours spare. And I missed you all. I want to hang out. I want to chat. Let me know if you're watching down in the chat. I didn't give any time to prepare you guys that I was doing a live stream, so this is kind of just dropped on you super last second. So I'll give a couple of you, it's probably gonna be like 10 people watching, commenting, chatting, but I think it would be fun to hang out for a little while. So yeah, I've got so much cool stuff to share with you. I've been up to so many different things, and I figured today of all days would be the perfect opportunity to just fill you in on life in general and talk about something which literally happened because of an accident, which is what the thumbnail is. So I'm not really spoiling much by showing you this. However, I don't know, how do I check the chat? You know what? I'm so rusty. I don't remember. Magic's Lucky says, hi. Yo, what's up, Magic's Lucky? Thanks for tuning in, dude. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I've missed all of you so much. So if you have any questions that are burning that you want to ask, you want to know any new secret projects I've been working on, what things are coming up, then fire away, and I will do my very best to spew out all of the information. I'm trying to figure out how this chat thing works in OBS. How can I see my chats up here? Don't think it's gonna let me, is it? Not gonna let me do it. Such a shame. Such a shame. I can see it on the screen there. We got John Morrison. Hello from Pennsylvania, USA. That's crazy. I've never been to Pennsylvania. I'm good, Magic's Lucky. How are you, my friend? I'm very good, actually. I've been busy. I've been and done my first lecture in 2.5 years. I went to Northern Ireland in Belfast, thanks to my good friend Darren Close and the Ulster Magic Society, or the Ulster Society of Magic, I believe it's called, who invited me over. I've been all over the world, and I've never been to Ireland, which, for any of you that are watching outside of Wales, Ireland is like a hour flight from my house. It's literally across the water. You can see Ireland from my country. That's how close it is, and I've never been. I've been to everywhere else, almost everywhere else in the world. You name it, I've been there. Never been to Ireland though. So it was Northern Ireland. So it was amazing to go there, and I went there and did my brand new lecture called DOCSPARA, named after the book, or the book named after the lecture, I should say, and demoed some brand new tricks that I've never shown before, and I was really excited to share them for the first time because it was all in aid of preparing for the big lecture coming up in January 2026 at the Session Convention. I'm absolutely bricking it. And I decided that it wouldn't be very good for me to go and lecture at somewhere like the Session Convention without actually having done any practice of lecturing at all. Well, at least in 2.5 years. And then before that, like 2 tiny ones. Well, we got people here. We got Ion91. Hello from Switzerland. We got Ion. Oh, I haven't seen Ion for ages. Hey, it's been a while. Lawrence Badenai. Hello from Canada. Yo, I love Canada, man. I have where's that camera gone? I have YYZ Airport for Toronto Airport tattooed on my arm, matching tattoos with Pete McKinnon, because I love Toronto so much. It's absolutely sick there. And what did I have there? I had ghost pepper chicken wings there, and didn't die, but I felt like I was going to. Felt like I was gonna die there. Toronto. I've been there twice. We got the Slightco. Oh man, the Slightco came to the lecture. As you can tell, I was very nervous. It says, smashing lecture. Did you get some Tato before you went home? Book is fab. Thanks again. Yo, thank you so much for coming to the lecture, man. It meant a lot. It was great to finally put a face to the name, because I know I've been talking about your shop, the Slight Co, a few times on here, and I really wanted to just hang out and meet you. And thanks for picking up all the stuff. I was blown away by how many people came to that lecture, because it was apparently a tiny magic club up in Northern Ireland, and yeah, I was told there was going to be like 10 people there, and then it was like it was pretty even. People flew in from a guy called Mudge flew in from Luton. Jake Keane came in from Liverpool. The Sligo came down for it. It was kind of crazy. Yo, Sav is in the building. Sav, Manjag Singh joined the chat. The ghost of Manjag Singh. Yo, Sav, I'm gonna be in London lecturing a week today for the Magic Circle Junior Convention. And since you look like a child, Sav, I figured they'd let you in. So come along and hang out. I'm gonna be lecturing at 10:30 a.m. in the morning. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Hello from the real island, Justin Bowman says. Hello, the real island? Either way, you have Northern Ireland, you have the real island, as Justin says. But to me, it's just a big island, because I live in Wales. so no arguing, anyone. Yo, Socks, what is up, man? How's it going? God, I can't believe how many people are in the chat. I haven't done this for such a long time. I thought there was going to be literally no people watching. And now there's a lot of people watching. Well, I did like 20 odd. This is kind of crazy. So what do you guys want to know? You guys want to know anything? It's Thomas Rick Magic. My kid's named you. Oh, Thomas Rick, man. What's going on, dude? I seen you in the Discord just now being like, is Lloyd going to live stream today? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Kaylee and the kids are out of the house. And I figured now would be a perfect time to update you all on what's been going on. What's been happening. Bruce Khan, greetings from Phoenix, Arizona. What? Have I been to Arizona? No, I've been to Nevada. Nevada's not in Arizona, is it? I've been to Nevada a couple times. But isn't Arizona like a hot desert area too? Where was I watching yesterday? I was watching the Formula One in Austin, Texas. I've been there. I went to Austin, Texas to Richard Turner. You guys know the gambling cheat Richard Turner? I went to his house back in 2017, I think. It was amazing. I literally flew into Austin, Texas for one day to go to Richard Turner's house. He was I was interviewing him for a video that I was making, and so I'd been to Magic Live, I think, and yeah, I think it was Magic Live. I think I was supposed to go fly back to London, and then it was like a last minute thing, like, oh, you can go and hang out at Richard Turner's house. So I like booked a last minute flight, flew into Austin, Texas, arrived at like, I think it was like 10 p.m. at night, and I got to this little Airbnb. It's like this 1-bedroom apartment, quite nice. There was loads of lizards around the door, which was pretty cool. Got in. First thing, obviously, ordered a pizza. Ate that pizza. I remember going to sleep, being really tired by like midnight. Woke up next morning, it was like 8 a.m. Straight out the door into an Uber, and then we went down the freeway, came off this big ramp. It was blazing hot. Then we went into this gated community, and it was like super posh. And there was this little dog running around outside a house, like yap 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 yap. And it turns out it was Richard Turner's dog. And that's where I met him, and we just hung out for the day. He told me loads of stories about how he had a gun pulled on him on a steamboat, how he was friends with Muhammad Ali, how he'd won big artworks in gambling things, in like poker games, illegal games and stuff. And the dude's got the coolest house ever, man. He had like a gym upstairs that he worked out in all the time, and all his artwork and all his furniture was imported from Europe, or a lot of it was imported from Europe. I remember that because all the details on the furniture, because Richard Turner's blind, he made sure that all of the furniture and the paintings were like had good interest in texture, so he could appreciate them as much as anybody else. And that like blew my mind. And then I flew. I think I flew straight back to the UK from Texas, like straight after that. And it was like a whirlwind. Like 1 minute I was in Magic Live. Next, I was eating pizza surrounded by geckos, and then I was in Richard Turner's house, and it was wicked. And he was telling me about how he got killed like a bunch of times. And then I was just back in the UK, It was like the maddest 48 hours ever, but a proper little adventure. We've got Mark Sealhammer, yo, Bruce and Lloyd, cheers from Phoenix, Arizona as well. Yo, everyone's in, what's this, a Phoenix, Arizona viewing party? Justin Bowman, if you have time, could you talk about how you prototype gimmicks? I've been working on a new card through glass idea, but I've been stuck trying different ideas, not knowing which is best. And we have Chris James Magic in the chat. Chris James, the man of the hour, the most talked about man in Magic this week. He is the flavor of the week, the guy behind the magic button. Keep tuned. More information on the magic button coming this week on this channel with a special video. But I got to answer Justin's question, who asks, how do I go about prototyping gimmicks? I've been working on a new card to glass idea, but I've been stuck trying different ideas, not knowing which is best. Well, there's a bunch of ways to approach gimmick ideas, and it depends what you're creating for. We're in a very different landscape now to what we used to be. Before, like, it depends what you're creating for, right? Are you creating to perform it table hopping? Are you creating it to perform it situationally? So every now and then when friends come over your house, are you creating it to potentially be a product? Are you creating it for social media? Or are you creating it for television? So DMB Dot says Arizona is my second home. What? Why is everyone? I need to go to Arizona. This is the thing. I need to go to Arizona. Yeah. So Justin, if you're listening, let me know in the chat. What is your intention with this card through glass gimmick? Like I said, are you creating it for social media, for live performance, repeat performances, situational magic, television, a product? Let me know your intention of what you're creating it for, and that will sort of dictate how I would then go about creating and refining the gimmick to make it perfect. DMB Dart said, I spent 3 years there with my wife from Mesa, Arizona. What? This is the Arizona show? Mike Weddle, Magic Mike, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, I've never been to Oklahoma, but I've always wanted to go. Always wanted to go to Oklahoma. I hope all of you can hear me, by the way. We've been going for like 10 minutes. And okay, Justin Bowman says, I'm creating it to be a product, which means I needed to be ticking every box. All right, okay, so I'm going to go... Toast says, what magic trick mentalist would you advise? Can you repeat that question, Toast? What do you mean? What trick would I advise for a mentalist to do? But just back to Justin, how would I make it for how would I create it for a product? Well, first of all, you got to have the core idea, and the same way to create a product for a product versus for TV or for Instagram. My first rule of thumb is to look at and try not to be influenced by any other existing card through glass ideas out there. Look at them all, write them all down, write down all the methods, and then put a big sign on your list that says, I am not allowed to use these, right? So basically, you're not allowed to use anybody else's method, right? That's personally what I do, because there's no point releasing a product if it's been done before, okay? Because you get into some strange territories there. Charlie Hewish, how's it going, dude? It's been a long time, Mr. Buns. How you been? He says. So write down or make a mental note of all the existing ideas that are out there for cards through glass that you know or can find, and then mental bullet point, you cannot use those ideas. That's a good starting point. Second question, Justin, is this a card through glass table or a card through window or a card through glass? That's the second question, because again, that will kind of dictate on how much of a, what type of product this would be. But the ultimate thing I would say is this, is I wouldn't ever, at least in my old age, I wouldn't create something to be a product. For me, now, I used to work at a terrible company and used to try and make you make products, and it was not the right way to create, because the intentions, I believe, are not the right intentions when you're doing that. If I like for example, card through window is forever one of my favorite effects. So when I'm going to create a card through window, the only thing I have in mind is how do I want it to look when I do it, right? So what do I want it to look like? How do I personally want it to do to go like? If you're creating it as a product, you kind of have to drop a lot of the things that, well, I feel like when it comes to products, you kind of have to water down your magic quite a lot to make them universal. And often then it's, at least for me, the magic isn't as strong as what I can do on my own without being restricted by the ability levels of people purchasing. So personally, I wouldn't create it to be a product. What I do these days is I create, say I create, out of the hundreds and thousands of ideas I have a year, I'll end up testing and performing about 100 ideas. From those 100 ideas, 0 are intentionally product ideas, but I'll go and show, I'll put them on social media, or I'll perform them to magician friends, or show them off like in my magic circle, my little circle of magicians, or I'll show them at conventions. If somebody says, or when enough people say, where can I buy that trick? Or when can I buy that trick? Or how do I get that trick? That's when I know then potentially it could be a product. A lot of the time these days, almost all the time these days, the only things that I release are because people are nagging for them. And I feel like that's the best way for the river to carve itself. Like you let the river naturally direct you what people want. But again, if you're creating it to be a product, then that's not very helpful. I understand that. And there's nothing wrong with creating things to be a product. Let that be known too. It's just, for me, it's just, I just don't do it that way. I find I get better creations. I feel, yeah, whatever. Okay, so let me know. What is it? What's it going to be? What type of card through glass table? All right, so if it's going to be a product, look at the existing card through glass tables. You've got Cesaro Melting Point by Cesaro. What's his name? He does a lot of app magic now. Mario Gioni. You got Noel Qualter's The Fall. That's a really good one. Check out Daniel Madison's Breach card through glass table. And there's a really good one, which is a sleight of hand based one, where you do the thing under the table. So those, look at some existing ones that are out there, and then try and find some interesting approaches that haven't been done before. Like if everybody's using magnets to do it, then say maybe I'm going to create something that doesn't use magnets. When I say product, my intention is not to sell it. I just give myself a certain set of rules, which I later realize make it align with a product. I just want to share it with my circle. All right, okay. So, okay. How do I go? Because I absolutely love the reason I know so many card through glass tables that exist is because it's one of my favorite plots in Magic. How would I go about creating this? To in terms of, for Justin's question about refining the gimmick. So one of the best pieces of advice ever when it comes to creating that I heard and I've stuck to was, well, I've always filmed my magic. So since I was super young, and I mean like 12, 13 years old, I've had a video camera. I'm obsessed with filming, hence the YouTube channel. And I was listening to Paul Daniels give a lecture back at the Cardiff Day of Magic when I was 16 years old. So that was 21 years ago. And his advice was, if you practice your magic in the mirror, you won't do it well, because when you go to do that pass, your body will try and force itself to look away, and it does. You naturally do, right? You naturally try and avert your eyes when you're practicing your magic in front of a mirror. So with this card through glass that you're creating, film it. Like you said, you want to do it like as a product or like sort of situational. Film it from multiple different angles, and when you watch it back, your eyes will lock on to the weak points, right? So it's a really good way to create and to sort of pick it apart initially, is to film it over and over and over. Then you want to look at reliability. It comes down to practicality, and it's all well and good having a great visual moment for that penetration of the card going through the glass, but, and I've come to learn this the hard way, you need to be able to practically get into that position to do the melt through. So maybe you've got a card in cop underneath the table, and you're going to push this one through. I don't know, it's going to go into like some sort of a weird palm as you expose the other card. I don't know, I'm just like freestyling. Maybe you're going to like Tenkai it through a table or whatever. But whatever you're doing, you need to be able to practically get into the get ready position, and then you need to be able to practically clean up after it. So it's all well and good having the great visual moment, but spend as much time being able to get in and out of that position, which is obviously, I mean, it goes without kind of saying, I think. So I do realize that I'm sort of gilding the lily with that a little bit. And yeah, like I said, so make sure you're not using other people's methods. Do a lot of research into what exists out there. And one thing which I think is always interesting, which I think I've tried to take on as much as I can, is think about interesting ways in which you can change the aesthetic. So what I mean, for example, is when you think about doing a card through a glass table, most people think I place the card on the glass table, I place one hand above it, one hand below it, and I want it to fall through, right? General way of thinking it. But think to yourself, how can I make it more visually interesting? For example, could you place the card on the glass table and then take a paper napkin and drape that over the card, right? And then you shine your torch of your phone down so they can see the silhouette of the card going through onto the carpet or the floor underneath, right? And then they can see it fall through. And now, when you start to add in interesting elements and interesting objects that are visually interesting, you start to open up then some new areas. For example, when you bring in that cloth to put it over, well, there's a good moment to exploit loading it underneath. But then the camera shadow is like a nice convincer that the card is still above the glass until it drops down. Can you add in some other elements to it that make it interesting? For example, could you slide it under a glass so it looks like it's a beer coaster? Could you drop the cards all together and do a beer coaster or a coffee coaster through glass table? Because it's the same sort of effect, but now you can start to think, well, if it's a coffee coaster, maybe I can build a gimmick so that it's half a coffee coaster that's above the glass, and when I lift, it slides under, and because of that, there's a magnet in the glass, which means the second part of the beer coaster is under the glass, right, aligned up. When I lift, this will naturally drop because the magnet attaches, and it can slide that gimmick in at the same time. So now you've got some interesting elements to play with. And if it's like that, maybe you can put a cross with a pen on the duplicate card underneath the glass, and then the gimmick above the table, you can in play put a cross in live play in the same place, and now it looks like it's kind of signed. And when you lift up the glass, it drops through. But you could use some other interesting objects. Like think about a glass table when it's in situation. How often do you find a completely bare glass table? I think it's very rare. Normally there's candles, there's coasters because you don't want to scratch the glass. So you could take advantage of those natural aesthetics, those natural things to exploit. So you could hide stuff like magnets or thread in them. Maybe set yourself a challenge. I used to do a card through glass table a long time ago, and it was only good on camera. I'll tell you this now, but it was one card placed on the glass table, could be completely signed, and then it would penetrate through. And the method was this. I'll tell you the method right now. The method was I had really strong but very fine invisible elastic thread on my left hand. That would go under the table. I'd pull the card so it would stretch around and it would go on top, right? This hand would pin it to the glass. And then as I waved forward to make a bit of cover, this would literally go pew and shoot into my hand. So I could do a card through glass table. It was signed. Obviously, I had to cover the little hole where the thread was, but it was just using one card, which was just a very interesting way of doing it. Could you do a card through glass table where you tear the corner off? You place the corner on top, and then you get a packet of sugar. You open the packet of sugar, and you cover the corner of the card in sugar, right? Now, when you go under, you make the card penetrate through, and as it comes through, particles of sugar fall through it. Just like a super interesting kind of thing. So I always find like if you can't find a through road with the standard way you want to do it, which is like potentially just a card going straight through the glass table, then think, how can I add my own flair to this? Maybe it's card through glass table where it happens on the phone. So you're like, right, I'm going to put a card on the glass table. I'm going to film it from above with my phone. Everybody huddle in, right? And then they can see the card on top of the glass table through your phone, but they can't quite see it from the angle. And then they see like a little ripple effect animate on the screen, as if it's going through glass, like a Michael Bay camera dolly shot. And then it falls down. They see it fall down low. You can also then steal the card up through the glass on the back of the phone. just try and get creative with all the different things you can do to spice that up a little bit. Does that make sense? So please let me know, man, if that advice is helpful at all or not. Um, so so okay, let me go back to answering some questions. The chat is hotting up. We've got a bunch of chats. Here. Toast is asking. Sorry, I phrased it wrong. I meant, do you think it's what do you think is your go-to best mentalist trick you do for strangers? Great question. Best mentalist trick. Oh, so from other people, Peter Turner's star sign, his progressive anagram star sign. I do that all the time, and it never fails to get huge reactions. There's a fantastic trick from Michael Murray in his book called A Piece of My Mind, where you ask like 4 or 5 people. You say, I'm going to think of a number between 1 and 100. I've made a prediction. I'm going to stick to it. I want you all to try and guess what number or read my mind. And that's a fantastic trick. If it's a card trick, I have my own thing called Brainstorm, which is it's in the new apparently lecture notes, which has turned into a book, which I'll tell you more about in a minute. If anybody's interested, comment DOCSPARA down below if you want me to tell you more about this, because I don't want to waffle on if nobody wants to hear about it. But yeah, there's a trick. I have published a variation of it on Patreon, but the new variation is even more stronger, and essentially, for me at least, it's the most fooling think of a card that I know, that I can perform, and it seems to fool every. And I say this so egotistically, but it seems to fool every magician I show it to. And I had amazing praise from Gabriel Verlin, who's I think is actually a living genius, who came up to me after Blackpool and told me, I won't repeat what he said, but some very, very, very kind words about it. So it's basically the spectator thinks of a card and I reveal it without getting too much into the nitty gritty. That's pretty much what happens. Extremely clean. Those are probably the 3 mentalism tricks that I do on the fly. And then I also have like apps. So it depends on the fly you count it as. But like I have Cognito and then Cypher. If you guys remember, all these calculator apps where you force the total and steal their pin codes and stuff. I feel like an old man now, but Cypher was the very ever first one created. It was the very first one on the market. My friend, me and Will Jones made it, and then we added somebody else into the mix. And that was like nearly 10 years ago. And that's still a solid, hardcore piece of mentalism. But I'll tell you, actually, how can I forget this? I have one trick that I do, and I think it's my favorite trick of all time, and I'm debating on doing it at the Magic Circle lecture next weekend, but because it's the Young Magicians Club, it may be not as visual because it's mentalism. I know they like sort of cool visual stuff, but it's a lottery ticket prediction. And what's nice about it is that there's no printers or anything. It's just literally, without getting too deep into it, it's an ultra practical lottery ticket prediction that doesn't feel like bullshit. It doesn't feel like, oh, okay, take this pen, now write the numbers upside down so you can't see them. They pick 6 numbers, they confirm they're the numbers they picked, and it turns out they've been holding printed official real lottery ticket from the beginning, before the trick started. It's called 6. Actually, it's in. I'm not just. It's not a promo thing, but it's in this book. I sold a few copies 2 years ago. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, and then I took it off sale. I'm kind of very, very precious of it, but those are the tricks you asked. Hope that answers the question. All right, more comments. Oh my goodness, okay. I'm gonna be running behind on the comments. I'm gonna try and catch up. So Toast, I hope that answered your question. How many was that? 6 mentalism tricks, roughly there. Ray's Magic Vault. I am a small town magic creator. Please show my name is Ray's Magic Phone. Yo, shout out to Ray's Magic Phone or Ray's. Okay, he's changed it. Ray's Magic Vault. Shout out to Ray's Magic Vault. Good luck being a small time creator. I've been there. I know the struggles. Keep at it. Be relentless. That's my everlasting advice to that. Toast asks, do you know tricks like physical? I think you mean psychic surgery. I don't do any psychic surgery tricks. I don't do any at all. Really not my style of magic, to be honest with you. So I can't elaborate. I would try and pretend that I know, but I don't. But they're cool. When done correctly, they're very, very cool. All right, Matt N, Bruce Khan, Socks, Ion, 1023. All says DOCSPARA, DOCSPARA, DOCSPARA. Okay, DOCSPARA, right, the book. That was lecture notes. It is lecture notes, it's a book. I said yes to lecturing at the session convention, which is coming up in January 2026. So if you want to see me live and see the material, the new material from this book live for the very first time, come to the session convention in Heathrow in January. I think it's like January 9th to 11th. I need to double check, but go to the session convention. It's put on by Vanishing Inc., Andy Gladwin, Joshua J. I've always said it. It's the best convention on the roster. It's where you go to learn good magic. And this year they're gonna have the best magicians in the world, and me at the end. Yeah, I'm very, 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 very out of my depth, and my imposter syndrome has given me real adult nightmares. But I decided if I was gonna go and do the session convention, then I needed to up my game and come up with some new material. I didn't want to just lecture some old stuff off my YouTube channel, so I decided to put a new. I was speaking to a few of my friends, and some of them said like Jake and Darren and stuff said like you kind of want to do some things because I know my material better than anyone else, right? Nobody else, obviously, like you, whatever magic you guys create, you know your full catalog. I know my full catalog. It would be very naive and egotistical of me to believe that everybody in that room knew all of my effects, and in a way that's really good because if you guys watch my channel, you watch my Instagram, it's very, 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 very rare that I post the same trick twice. And if I do, it's normally because I've made a big update to it. A lot of magicians out there they make their whole career living just doing the same tricks. I like to be creative as much as I can. So it's very hard. But I think like my kind of USP in the magic space is that it's always, or like 99.9% of the time, it's new material. So I wanted to go to the lecture with that in mind, but also I was thinking, well, it's an opportunity to meet people in real life that may not have seen some things that I think are really cool or have flown under the radar. So what I did was I went back. I've got some new pieces of magic in there, but I also went back through some greatest hits, and I thought, how could I improve them? And so that's kind of what I did. I put in some brand new material, and then I took some classics that people either know me for or don't or they use it and they don't realize that it's my creation, like those calculator tricks out there. And I decided to update them for 2026. So one of the things I'm most proud of in this book is and this is what I'm going to open the lecture with, so I don't want to spoil it too much. I'm not going to tell you the method right now, but I'm going to tell you, maybe put a challenge to you. I do a trick called Acme Hole. It's a card that has a hole in it, and then it turns into a sticker. I think it's nearly 10 years old now, and it's probably up there in like the top 2 or 3 tricks that I've created that are the most performed by magicians around the world. It's on America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent. It's on loads of TV shows all over the internet. I think Magic Singh performed it on a billboard in Times Square or in Piccadilly Circus Square in London. Like, it's quite well known, right? And I was looking at it and I was like, okay, it's a good trick, but it's been 10 years. I should be able to improve it. And I thought to myself, well, what's the biggest flaw? I was like, well, the biggest flaw is that it's a gimmick card. So I thought to myself, wouldn't it be sick if I could do Acme Hole and have no gimmick card? So a card that has a hole in it, legit I can put my finger through the hole, whatever, show the hole in the card. I can look through it if I wanted to, and then just hand it out and let the audience peel the stickers off. So that's like an example of one of the things in this book. Super, super, super proud of it. And that's going to be in the lecture. There's 10 tricks in total. I don't think I'm going to get time to put them all in the lecture. So, but I'm going to try and look and see. So there's that. There's a new trick, which is pretty cool. I won't spoil it. But it's super visual, super visual. It uses 2 decks of cards, a blue deck and a red deck in the boxes. There is some pen through bills, an insane triumph that literally, well, I mean, I'm picking up myself here. I don't want to do that. But there's 10 tricks, and I'll tell you why it's a book. I intended to quickly put a set of notes together for the Belfast dry run lecture that I did on the 4th of October, so 15 days ago. And I started writing. So I thought, okay, I'm going to start writing this trick up, blah, blah, blah. And lecture notes, 20, 30 pages. I got Michael Lamar's lecture notes. It was basically the same tricks from the lecture, very briefly explained in a thin collection of written notes. So I started writing, and I wrote 134 pages. I felt like Alexander Hamilton writing the Constitution or something. I came out the other end of it. I was like, he's written 134. And I had literally no intention of it. And so it's lecture notes with 10 effects. And they're a mixture of brand new or very updated pieces of magic. And yeah, it's 10 tricks that was supposed to be a set of lecture notes, but now look at it, it's turned into a book, and I'm super proud of it. It came out incredible. I didn't realize how cool it would be. So that's my lecture notes for 2026. I'm going to plug my charger in here. They're not available yet because I haven't done the lecture yet. They were a very small quantity was available in Ireland. Oh, am I jumpy? Have I gone a bit jumpy here? How am I going to stop this jumpiness? Yeah, very small quantity was available in Ireland. But let me see if I can... Oh, there we go. Are we back? Not as jumpy anymore. Yeah, a very small quantity of the notes were available in Ireland, and I'll be taking some to the Magic Circle lecture for the J-Day convention a week today. And there are some other things I had with them that will help with the things, but you know, and then I'll be doing the session convention, and after that, if there's any lecture notes left, then I'll probably put them on my website. And if you're a member of my Patreon, whether you're a free member or a paid member, I'll probably make them available to you beforehand, because people who are on you can go to patreon.com/LloydB, and you can sign up to be a free member or a paid member and get all the good stuff. And I'll at least put, like, if anybody's interested, comment, let me know. But if you are interested, then I'll potentially put a link in there to give you early access to it, because I know that's the people that will like want my material the most. So I don't want you guys to not be able to travel to the lecture and then miss out on the book. But as far as it being like a widely available thing, then not at least until after the lecture, if there's any left. Okay, so sorry for rambling there. I'm going to start trying to... Sock says the Patreon is worth it. Yeah, thank you so much, man. The Patreon's dope. I have like magic apps in there that are not available anywhere else. Some really, really interesting things. And I have like an avalanche of material dropping on it really soon. And I'm going to do an exclusive live for the Patreon to update that. So let me go back to the questions. All right. A lot of people asking questions. Just a moment said, hey, Lloyd, thank you for the thorough answer. Very helpful. Also, DOCSPARA. Okay, cool. Yeah, glad that helped you, Justin. If you can think of any more questions, then let me know. Matt N says, not ESP. Yeah, dude, not ESP by Jake Keane is the breakaway app of the year. I literally cannot think, and I'll probably be, if there's any of my friends who make magic apps, I apologize. I cannot think of a better Magic app that's been released this year or not the last 2 years. And it's made by my best friend in Magic. One of my best friends. I got Craig, Jake, Darren. So I couldn't be more proud. Okay, so Cypher Pro. I actually had socks, so I had nothing to do with Cypher Pro. I created Cypher Pro with Will Jones back at Cypher, the original one with Will Jones, many moons ago. And then when I quit the company that I worked at, they made a new version. The interesting thing about Cypher was when we first made Cypher, I came up with an entire Cypher 2, not a Cypher Pro, a Cypher 2 that was fully fleshed out before the first ever Cypher launched. So this is like 10 years ago, before any of these other calculator apps on the market. And I think it's incredibly powerful, super fooling. It's still ahead of the ones that have come out after Cypher, the other variations. And pay close attention because you may see some discussions about it in the coming future. Matt N says, honestly, I got rid of Cypher. Maybe I should get it back. I would hold off, maybe. Matt N says, 6 is fucking rad. Thank you, dude. Oh, wow, did you pick it up? You were one of the very lucky few. Darren Close says, just wait. Finally, 6 is available. Yeah, 6. Okay, so 6 is... It's the last half of this book, I think. Where is it? The last like 40 pages of this book are just that lottery prediction. That my favorite trick, I think, of all time that I've created. Mike Weddle asks, have you ever done Trace? Is that the burnt card? Is that the burnt card, Mike? I have a simple way. Mark Sealhammer says, I have a simple way to construct a card, and to wallet gimmick. Card to wallet gimmick. Would like to share with this community. Should I just post on our Discord? Yeah, dude, share it on the Discord, man. That'd be class. Yeah. By the way, we have a private Discord for all paying members of the Society of Secrets, which is my Patreon, and so if you wanna come and chat more regularly, like as in a group chat, then become a member and we can go and chat in the Discord there. Matt N says, shit, I'm trying to make it to Blackpool, guys. You can't keep bringing out cool stuff. The funny thing is, I don't like bringing stuff out. I don't like bringing out products or lecture notes or books. I feel there's a kind of pressure behind it. And I think you all know that I literally love giving away as much of my ideas and as much of my material as possible. Hence the YouTube channel with like literally, I think it's over like 150 tutorials. I don't know how many live streams where I share how many different ideas and things, fuller episodes. I love giving stuff away. It's only every so often that I'll try and make something a bit more special or put something in physical form. Or if it's literally like a gimmick, like a Lux gimmick, where if I can't give it away, then it has to be made into a product. But I try not to like drown people with products. I really think that like I try and sparsely release them, because then they're worth it. Mike Weddle says, I hope I'm saying that right, dude. I apologize if I'm not. It says, is 6 on Patreon? It's not on Patreon. It's not, but it is in this book, which will be available. So if you're a member of the Patreon and you want the book, I will make some sort of post to help you guys get that, or to at least ensure you guys get a copy before they sell out. As if I'm assuming they're going to sell out. They may not sell out. I probably won't sell a single copy, and then I look like a fool, and then I'll be saying, take this for 50 pence, or please just use it for free. Gojo Potato says, have you checked out Theory 11? Love Theory 11. Haven't checked them out for years, though. I think they've sort of pivoted into a playing card company now, which is super cool. But it's only like, I think they're more like lay people consumer playing cards these days, of licensed franchise movies and stuff, which is super cool, and they're the best designs. But it's of no interest to me whatsoever. Matt N says 6 was a limited release a couple of years ago, though maybe it's been updated in DOCSPARA if I'm reading the subtext right. Toast says, no way, where can I buy this book? Yeah, so I'll make it available somehow through the Patreon in the very, 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 very near future. I can see Mix of Tricks, Andrew Niner, who showed me. Oh, Andrew, I need you to start. Me and Andrew Niner had a conversation by WhatsApp the other week, and we were like, right. He was like, basically, the discussion was, Andrew, needs to start shit. Andrew's a genius. He's one of the most gifted magic creators I've ever met, and performers. And he keeps coming up with ideas, and then a couple of years later, some other people will release them because he didn't release them or do anything with them himself. So I said to Andrew, you need to shit or get off the pot, my friend. You either get old and say, "Grr, those darn kids, I could have done this," or you do it yourself. And he, in fairness, he started sending me ideas which fried my tiny little mind. However, you need to start sharing them publicly, man. You need to start sharing them publicly, all right? Because you're a genius and the world needs more Niners. Sock says, where can we get it if we can't make the lecture? Yeah, so you can grab this. I think, well, become a free member of the Patreon. I'll at least put out like an APB on there. Bruce Khan, yeah, you can get these. So go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/LloydB. And then become a free member or a paid member and get all the good stuff. But become a free member and I'll put a shout out in there. Matt N says, when, how is it available and how much will my wallet suffer? Sounds amazing, Lloyd. So I'll put a post up in the Patreon, but it's a thick book. So I think I paid I'll put all the details there. I don't want to bore everyone. Lag. Patron's worth it. What do you mean? I'm interested. Jake Keen in the building. Jake, everyone throw out your rock hands for Jake Keen in the chat. Jake is a rock star. Do the same for Darren Close. Those are two of my best compadres, and if it wasn't for those guys, you would see so much less of my creative ideas. Half of my ideas are their ideas. I just steal them. 100% a link on Patreon would be very much appreciated. Okay, I'll do that. Chris James Magic says, I see the word wow, and I'm already interested. He says, do you have any information on wow blank? It's been forever. It's one of the number one questions I get asked at Alakazam chat, top 5. I have no information on wow blank because I didn't release that. I think that was released by somebody else. I did wow money, which was the bill version of wow. Ironically, wow blank was an old idea I'd had many moons ago when I was coming up with a bunch of really wild stuff with wow, and the only things that ever came to light was the wow bills. But I do have a whole plethora of stuff that I've never shared with wow, but maybe I will. One of the ideas with wow, I was working on it 3 years ago with Javier. It was literally the coolest fucking thing you've ever seen. But the price, so I worked, obviously I didn't use it. You can buy rip-off versions of WoW, and I don't think that's very cool. I did the WoW money officially through Masuda, who created WoW originally. But unfortunately, to make this thing that I wanted was so expensive because of I don't know the reason why, but whatever process and materials Masuda has to use costs a lot of money, and the idea was eventually just not. It was just too much of an investment to do. One day very soon actually, because there's something that me and Javier created in replacement of it. One day I will share with you what that idea with WoW was. And when everyone sees it, you're all going to lose your fucking mind. It makes so much sense. But until that day in the very near future comes, I cannot share the deets. But yeah, with WoW Blank, couldn't tell you, man. Couldn't tell you, but you can reach out to Masuda and maybe try and get some. Thank you for saying the Patreon is gold, Ion. Yeah, I have a whole avalanche of stuff coming for Patreon, and I have a big update. Big update. I mean, an update so big that it's viscerally changing. You heard it here first. Matt N says, Socks, the Patreon has the best stuff from Lloyd's SOS and Jake's True, two of the most helpful groups I'm part of. Oh, thank you so much, man. I use it for a routine that starts with 52 card pickup, stay, and that it slays. Whisper Ink from Darren Close is coming fast too. Yeah, Whisper Ink from Darren Close. He posts some amazing podcast form videos in his Patreon. And Darren, if you're there, feel free to post a link to the Patreon down below. Mike is 6 on Patreon. It's not. Yo, Mark, love you too, man. Thanks for dropping in. I'm so glad you can make it. Discord name, Society of Secrets. Yes, Coded Magic. The Discord name is Coded_Magic is Society of Secrets. You can join if you become a paid member, then you get access to the private Discord. Socks, I gotta say your feedback on how I used your salt shaker is my highlight of my new year and a half in Magic. Thank you so much, man. I'm gonna do a live jam very, very soon on the Patreon, and we'll jump on and go over a bunch of stuff. If you want to, I'll announce it and I'll say a date and time, and then you can bring some stuff so we can jam on in preparation. Okay. Toast says first, thank you so much for replying to me. And I'm recently getting the tricks on Illusionist. What's your favorite trick on it? But I'm 100% buying your book. Oh, thanks so much, dude. Do you know what, man? I would say Illusionist. I wouldn't get anything from there at all. It's super old stuff. I don't think half of it's in stock anymore. I would not, and it's not the stuff that I perform anymore. So I actually will go against the grain here and say, I'm always going to suggest the latest stuff that I'm working on. But if you're talking about like back catalog material, then my favorite creations of all time and the ones that I use the most are Lux, Dex, and Cognito are the ones that are available that I use every time I get a chance to perform. And then failing that, you got 6 in this book. And a few of the card effects in this book I use all the time. They'll be available in the near future. All right, we're going down to the questions. Mike says, how can I make my red lotus disappear? Is that a car or a flower? Chris James, I agree. Andrew is a genius. You're also a genius now, Chris James. And we're going to talk about red and the magic button soon. The Slight Co asks, any further details on the gaff deck you and Craig are putting together? Yes, actually there are details. I can see Pig Cake in the chat. Hello, little pig. I love you. Ooh, I miss you. Yeah, the details on the gaff deck are that... How much can I share? The gaff deck is printed. The gaff deck is in the warehouse. Gaff decks, thousands of gaff decks are in the warehouse. They're done. We just got to film trailer. So, and then the tutorial for every trick. Is that enough information? Oh my god, I've literally got one on my shelf over there and it's blurred out. And the box for this gaff deck, the box alone is one of the things I'm most excited for. I honestly believe the box on its own could be a product. And a lot of people would be like, oh god, I would do that every day of my life. All right, what other things we got? Bruce Kahn throwing up the raw. Matt and Andrew is always posting stuff on SOS. Yeah, jump into the Society of Secrets Discord to see some of Andrew Niner's insane ideas. Pig Kirk in the building. Hi, Muttley says, my mum used to call me Muttley. Muttley Hound used to call me. Hello, I was at the lecture in Belfast. I'd give some serious consideration to doing more. It was fantastic. Oh, dude, thank you so much. I was a bag of nerves. Thank you so much for coming to support me, dude. There was definitely some hiccups. I feel like there was some hiccups. I know like when people were there, they were like, maybe they didn't see anything. I felt like there was. However, that was like an hour and a half of material. My next lecture a week today is 45 minutes. So I've got the lecture film and I'm going to pick out the strongest material and then just show that. Also, I've been working on something wild. Did you guys see that I posted a version? I posted the vanishing duck trick. Well, that method is good. I think it's a good method. Not the most practical, but definitely a lot practical than a lot of things I've posted. Well, now I have a very new method, which is so practical it hurts. Maybe that will make an appearance at the lecture. Who knows? All right, we got Pig Kick says, I use my stack watch every day though. Yeah, you do. Because everybody needs a paperweight in times of need. Matt says, could it be interesting Patreon lecture? Do you know what, Matt? Jake Keane very kindly filmed the Belfast lecture, and I'm considering sharing it on Facebook. Not on Facebook, on Patreon for paid members. if I don't share it for paid members, I think I will give the full lecture after the session convention, or at some point after the session convention. I really don't want to share this material online until people have had a chance to see it live first, which is a very, very unique approach for me, or not unique to me, unique for me, because it's normally I share first, show live later, in a sense. But the material is like, yeah, so I'm going to lecture it next weekend. I may throw in a small lecture in Cardiff Magic Society and possibly somewhere else before January, just to get a bit more practice in under my belt. If there are any magic clubs out there in the UK or fairly close to the UK that might want to book me for a little lecture before the session so I can practice, then reach out to me. It's hello@lloyd.tv. I'm not going to say that I am going to definitely do it by any stretch. But if there are, I'd like to potentially keep my options open, because I want to try and like get rid of the ring rust a little bit. All right. Lino von Lada. I love that name. Lino von Lada. Oh, it's a sexy name. You are the best creator I've ever seen. Oh, dude, thank you very much. Well, you have the best name I've ever seen. Thank you, dude. Matt N says, going over virtual magic. What do you want me to go over about virtual magic, dude? Ask away. Oh, Chris says, I got a jet, but I just wanted to say thank you. I'm seeing so many people in this chat that started really creating back a few years from the contest, and now they've become huge names in Magic. Dude, you're one of them. You literally was fresh as a daisy to Magic, started creating, getting involved in the contest, and now you literally have the best selling product on the market. I am in awe of what you've done, man. You grinded, you created, you were relentless, you were passionate, and it's ultimately paid off, man. You're wicked. I hope you come back to the end of this live stream later on and you hear this. You should be giving talks on how to follow that journey. And Justin from earlier asking about how to create a product. Chris James is fresh from doing the full experience, so maybe pick his brains. Toast asks, when's the book releasing? So it's, I keep saying book. It's just a gigantic set of lecture notes of new material mixed with updated old material. I'm selling it only at lectures because it's lecture notes. So it'll be available at the Magic Circle next weekend on the Sunday. It'll be available after my lecture at the session convention. And if you are a member of my Patreon, whether it's a free or pay member, then I will make it available to you guys so you don't miss out. It actually comes as either a book or part of a lecture pack where you get some interest in extra materials. So I'll probably make that available for you very soon. Very, very soon. Maybe in the next few days. Hope that helps. Gruson, dude, haven't seen you for a while. How the devil are you, my friend? Hello there. How are you all? I'm very good. It's been a while, man. How's life treating you? Toe says, how the hell do you do the duck trick? What the hell? Sock says, the duck trick hurts my brains. How do I do the duck trick? I do the duck trick by taking advantage of a situation, I think, maybe. But I'm gonna be teaching it. So don't worry, I'm gonna be teaching the duck trick, and I'm gonna be teaching the version that you could literally perform at your friend's house or perform at a bar or a magic club, wherever you go. Because the first version is kind of practical. You could do it at a bar, but you wouldn't do it as much as the new version, which I've been working on today. So I'll tell you more about that very, very soon. Groot says, Muttley wasn't the dog in the wacky... Muttley, wasn't that the dog in the wacky races with the pigeon? In Sweden, the show is called Stoppa Duvan. Stoppa Duvan. Nice. Practice on the Patreon, pretty please, says Socks. Yeah, I'll practice on the Patreon. I'll come and just do a live stream on there. Matt says, what I meant was to a virtual magic lecture on Patreon or even do a competition. Yeah, I have to announce the competition winner from the ring flight competition. It's been a while since I posted that. So I'm going to post the winner on there, and I'll definitely do a Patreon jam for sure. and then I'll do I have a bit, and then I'll do a lecture after I've done the session lecture. Cool. Is that all right? Okay, Toast says recently went to amaze Jamie Allen. Recently went to amaze Jamie Allen. Now that guy is a wizard. Do you know any of his tricks? I gotta know. Okay, can't sleep. Have you went? Do you know what's really funny? So I just got off the phone with Harry DeCruz. Literally, I was going to do this instead of doing this live. This was going to be a 108.9 Trapdoor Radio podcast, and then I was recording it, and 20 minutes into the recording, my phone went. It was Harry DeCruz. Harry DeCruz is in New York. He is the understudy for Jamie Allen, his Amaze show. So half the week when Jamie is not performing, Harry will perform for Jamie in place of him, right? And this week, Jamie is coming over to the UK, so Harry is doing 9 or 11 of those Amaze shows for him. So I haven't seen the show. I know of Jamie Allen's magic. He's insanely good. He's a very, very clever guy. Very, very talented creator and performer. But the irony is, I was literally just talking to the guy who's probably, I think he said Jamie is in the UK now. Maybe I don't want to get that wrong, but I think he's in the UK now. So I was just speaking to the guy who's doing Jamie's show for him this week, tonight, maybe. He's also Harry DeCruz, incredible magician in his own right, incredible consultant. He is the guy who booked me for the Magic Circle for the lecture coming up a week today. So that's what we were chatting about on the phone. So is that a cool answer? Like, you can't tell us because we all know we are your fave street. Just tell us, please. And yeah, so here's the thing. I'll share my ideas. I'll share my creations on this channel, but I'll never ever share or never intentionally share other people's work. It's just a no-no. There are some magicians out there that will expose. So this is a thing. There's a big difference between magic is in a different landscape to what it was a long time ago. And there's a difference between teaching ideas and teaching how to become better magicians versus exposure. And a lot of the old guard in magic seem to not understand this distinction. And it's just kind of like, you know how like some people's parents don't understand that they don't need to go to college these days and they have to follow the formal routes. It's kind of like that the changing of the guard is slowly coming in. Even the Magic Circle now, in the UK, who famously banned Penn and Teller for exposure, even they've invited them back in and they graciously accepted the invitation. So exposure is taking other people's ideas and creations and showing how they work, whether that's stage magic, a magic show, or products. That's exposure. I don't fuck with that. That ain't my style. I don't do that. But I teach magic. I come up with ideas. I teach magic. I try to make everybody that watches my channel a better magician. And at the same time, I'm trying to become a better magician myself. And they say, what are the best ways to become better at something is to start teaching it. So yeah, just as a little, it wasn't like, that was just a little side thing. But I can't, for that reason, I can't share how other people's material works. But if you're happy to learn more of my material and follow some of my teachings, then stick around. Stick around. We're doing it. Grit says, I'm pretty fine, thanks. My birthday coming up tomorrow. Happy birthday for tomorrow, man. So spend the day at my parents'. Well, first me and my mom visit her parents' grave. Oh, man, I'm so sorry. I hope it was a nice visit, though, since it would have been her father's birthday today, or 18. Oh, man, well, happy birthday for tomorrow. I hope you get loads of cake. Do you know, I went to the shop yesterday with Kaylee, and I bought 2 cakes purely for myself. I bought a cookie dough cake with cream, and I bought myself a chocolate cheesecake. I'm just going to eat them all. I don't care. Jake Keane says, seen any shows lately that may deserve some promo for their extra dates? Oh my God. I've been so busy talking about my life, my stuff. How can I not talk about what happened in Liverpool? If any of you, and what's up, La208? What's up, Lasse from Sweden? What's going on, dude? If any of you live near Liverpool or Manchester, the Wirral, Scotland, Birmingham, North Wales, South Wales, London, then you absolutely have to, and there's no, sorry, I'm not allowing you. If you have means of transport and some spare change and a bit of time, you are going to the Oracle Bar one of the dates for the next, I think it's running from potentially now to the end of October. There is a show called, and I need to get Instagram this so I don't forget anything about it. There's a show in the Oracle Bar. So the Oracle Bar is a magic bar in Liverpool. It's stylistically the coolest magic bar in the world. And I've been to a lot of them. I think it's better than the Magic Castle because it encapsulates what magic as a vibe means to me. It's like vintage thief's den style. Everything's like old Victorian, falling apart staircase. They do the best magic shows ever. You could actually go on YouTube and search for some of their previous shows. They're in this little tiny theatre room. Search The Witch in the Woods. See Lewis Laval performing there 2 years ago, I think. There's a new show they're doing this year. It's called Echoes of the Dead. It's running from tomorrow to the 29th of October, right? Echoes of the Dead. The performer is Perseus Archimedes, one of my oldest friends in magic. He's over from Greece for a month. It is stylistically, thematically, aesthetically, one of the most gorgeous, spine-chilling, special magic shows I've ever seen in my life. Starts off in a room that's no higher than your head. Out walks a man, Perseus, and he brings 2 coins into a darkly lit. It's almost like a vaudeville style. Not even vaudeville, like an old, like somewhere you'd go to see an old mystic, and he pings 2 coins together, ding, and he tells you the story about how we all pay the same price when crossing with the ferryman. Oh, it sets the theme, and then it's this entire story-themed magic show. Some really haunting moments, some really special moments, some gasps, some shocks. It has a bit of everything, and it's at the Oracle Magic Bar in Liverpool. You're not allowed to live within traveling distance of the Oracle and not go and see it over the next 10 days. Okay? It's absolutely sick. If there are any tickets available. My really good friends, Ben Francis and Terry Chung, are the co-owners of the Magic Bar. They are there aren't magic bars like this. Their attention to detail and their strive for perfection in aesthetic and perfection overall is literally unparalleled. I'm giving this praise. It's not just because it's recency bias. I've been to places. I've been to magic bars all over the world. I'm really fortunate that I've seen the best magicians on the planet. Fissums. I've been to magic contests. I've been to anything you can think of. There's not many I haven't been to. This is a very, 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 very special place. And then to top it off, I managed to spend time with some of the performers in the local area who perform at the Oracle Bar. One guy, got to give a shout out to Man, who inspired the duck trick. Man blew my fucking mind with extreme burn. I've never had extreme burn done to me and get goosebumps. He did an ambitious card that literally made me want to give up magic because that was the end. Completed it. I met a guy called Luke who was amazing. Hung out with my friend Ash. Of course, me and Jake Keem were room buddies. We stayed in an Airbnb together, and as always, never come away from spending time with Jake not feeling completely fulfilled creatively. And he even bought me a 4-pack of Whisper chocolate bars. So, yeah, sorry, I went off on a complete tangent there. You guys, get to Liverpool. You have 10 days starting tomorrow to see Echoes of the Dead at the Oracle Bar. If you don't go and see it, we're not friends. Okay, we'll be friends. We'll be friends. But if you've got means to get there, time and money, please do it. Okay, cool. All right. Let's see. Mike, you inspired me to create magic. I just come up with a new idea for a trick. As soon as I figure it out, I will send it to the Patreon to get you. Yes, Mike, please do it. All right. Toast says, bro, he guessed the person next to me, his wedding date, and a kid typed random number, and we all had the same calculator up, and we did some random number, and the random number, and the year, the day, and the month at the exact same time. He's crazy. So, dude, that calculator trick or version, the original version of that calculator trick was called Cypher, and it was created by me and Will Jones many, many years ago. Oh, Jay Blunt, what's going on, dude? He said, heck yes, Sunday service. Yo, so good to see you, man. You crushed your show when I came to see it a couple of months back with Craig. You're going to it. I don't feel safe, says Toast. Could you teach how a magician guesses a word somebody looks at in a book? So Toast, that plot is called book test, a book test. I have my own version of one called crosswords, where they think of an answer on a crossword and you can reveal it. But in terms of a book test, I don't have my own one. Jake Keane has an amazing book test with 1 page torn out of a book, which you can keep in your wallet, which is phenomenal. Also, there's some great ones like Wikitest from Mark Kirstein, which is an app-based version, which means you can do it anywhere, anytime in a way that makes sense. But then the best place to probably start, because I'm not teaching other people's versions, is to look up Mother of All Book Tests by Ted Karmolowicz, kind of like the godfather of book tests. And there's some other great versions out there as well. There's one called Glance by Steve Thompson, available through Vanishing Ink. That's one I've performed quite a lot. So if you're interested in that, go and pick it up. Matt, yes, Perseus is at the Oracle Bar. He says, "Oh man, I was born in the wrong damn country." Yeah, he's at the Oracle Bar this month, dude. He is special. All right, Grit says, "Ha, I was in the thoughts of bringing cake to my coworkers, but I don't even know if they'll be in the office." Well, her dad would have been 115, so he's been gone a long time. Oh man, yeah, definitely a long time. Seriously, some amount of grief, but again, it's easy. It does. I find like that. Like even with like I lost Pixel a couple of years ago, it still hurts, but like I getting over it slowly. Grit says the only city I visit in England, except for landing in Liverpool, wink, is London and the Emirates Stadium. Dude, I'm telling you now, no offense to any of my London brothers and sisters. Liverpool, oh, please don't kill me. Liverpool is the best city in the UK. And to be real with you, there's not even a second. I know I'm going to get crucified for that. I come from Wales. I come from a different country in the UK. I have Cardiff in the UK. I have Swansea in the UK. I go to Bristol a lot to see people like Jay Blunt performing, who's sick, at Smoke and Mirrors Magic Bar. Again, another incredible place for magic in the UK. It's a completely different theme to the Oracle Bar. This is a walk around magic bar theatre that does magic shows every week. Again, another one. If you're near the Bristol area, you have to. How could I even not talk about that for 10 hours at a time? I filmed every Murphy's Magic trailer at Smoke and Mirrors. But Liverpool is the best city in the UK. It may be the best city on it. Toe says, "You're lying. You created that Cypher." Yeah, I created Cypher with Will Jones, and we brought another guy into the mix to add some stuff to it. And then years later, it was brought out without my name. Cypher Pro was brought out without my name on it, because obviously I'd left the company. But yeah, I know. And now all these magicians around the world do the calculator trick, and I have no idea that I was the first one to do it, which is pretty cool. Okay. Where are we at? What's the stack you mentioned before I mentioned it before you believe? Stack watch, maybe? I think Pig Kick may have mentioned it. It's an old product from someone. Okay, you promised to learn me a false shuffle. Yes, I need to film that false shuffle video, actually. I have a good video on my YouTube that teaches my favorite, like, real-world false shuffles that I do. If you go and search it, you'll find it. Brandon Ellis! Oh, guys, go and watch. Brandon Ellis has a sick YouTube channel. Go and check it out and see loads of new tutorials you won't have seen before. He's actually phenomenal. Please go and watch. Brandon has the best coin through deck that I've ever seen. It's a visual coin through deck of cards into a glass. Go and find it on his YouTube. It'll literally turn your brains to mush. Brandon, you missed everything. You've missed me talking about my new lecture notes, which turned into a lecture book. Giving some inside scoop on some of the material within the 134 pages you might find. Devra, what's up? Devra boy, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, man? Oh God, you're gonna get hunted down for that statement. I know. I know that my British friends and family are gonna kill me for saying Liverpool's the best city in the UK. It is, though. Yeah. All right. Grit says, best part of Liverpool is Liverpool Street Station because it takes you to the airport and out of there. Dude. Oh, Grit. Oh, sweet summer child. If you are... That's like flying... That's like going to New York and then running away before you see Tannins. You literally have no idea how good it is. All right. Deborah, what's up again? Joel says, please give us a small summary about the book. Will it be released in Sweden? All right. So, a small summary about the book. I have just covered this, but I'll do it really quickly before we log off for the evening. These are lecture notes. So so this started off as lecture notes to coincide with my brand new lecture that I'm trying to do small snippets of before the session convention in January 2026. Okay, so a couple of months. In this book is a collection of brand new material and updated old material. So there are 10 tricks in total, and this was supposed to be a 10 trick pack of lecture notes, but it ended up becoming 134 pages. So although it's lecture notes, it's a lecture book. And for example, there's stuff in there that I've never shared before that you'll only see live or in the book. One of them, the opening effect, is something I'm really proud of. If you guys know my effect called Acme Hole, there's one flaw with it, right? So it's one of the most popular next to the calculator trick cipher, which people use other versions of these days. Next to the calculator trick is one of the most performed tricks that I do, or other people do. So it's the trick with the card that has a hole in it. You could show the card with a hole, and then turns into a black sticker. You can peel it off. Been done on America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, TV shows, billboards, all over social media. I created that like 10 years ago. So I was looking at it and I was thinking, since I'm giving a lecture, some people will not be familiar with my material. So I need to do my friend suggests that I do some stuff that is like, oh, here's some things of mine that you may not have seen, but I'm confident they'll love. But I wanted to give them some new twists. So one of the things I've got that I open with is it's called Acme Faux. It's a brand new version of Acme Hole. And the biggest flaw with Acme Hole is that you were left with a gimmick card. Right? You do the trick, you take the sticker off, and then there's a card with a gimmick on it. And I thought, wouldn't it be amazing? Wouldn't it be real magic if I could have a card with a big giant hole through it? It becomes a sticker, and then you hand it out with no switches and no gimmicks. That's the first trick in the book, and it's what I do live. I'm opening my lectures with that trick. So I literally start off with a card, the Acme Hole card, big hole through it, show it front and back. And if I wanted to be honest with you, I put my finger through the hole or a pen or look through it, whatever. Put a hole, show the hole, real hole. Literally, the card is in full sight. And if I wanted to, I could just hand it out and they could peel the stickers off. Super, super proud of it. Bit of a miracle moment. It's the first thing in the book. There's a pencil through bill in here. There's a new app thing in here. There's my lottery ticket trick in here, which is my favorite creation of all time, I think, which is the way to have a real lottery ticket prediction without any printers or any bullshit ways to, like, okay, take a lottery ticket, close your eyes and press 6 numbers, scribble 6 numbers, blah, blah, blah. It's my favorite trick that I have. Yeah, so that's the type of stuff in here. 10 tricks, 134 pages, color, photos in there. I don't want to expose anything. Yeah, super cool stuff. And it's available only at lectures. And if there are any left after the session convention, then I'll put them online. Because these are lecture notes, so they only go like sort of supposed to be for people at lectures. However, if you're a member of my Patreon, whether it's a free member or a paid member, so go to patreon.com/LloydB, sign up. Either sign up as a free member or as a paid member to get literally, I think it's over 50 of like the best tricks I've ever created that will never be shared on YouTube. And then I will, because I know those people who are members of Patreon are like my core followers. I'll make sure you guys can all get a copy in the next week or so. or I'll put a link to it so that they don't sell out without them ever becoming available. Because this will be super limited. This will be this is 2025/26 lecture, so it'll only be in extremely limited quantities. And it also comes as part of a lecture pack too. So you can either buy the book on its own or the lecture notes on its own, or you can get some additional props and gimmicks to help you with the stuff, the material in here. So go to patreon.com/LloydB, sign up in any capacity, and then I'll put a little thingy-majiggy out, a little APB, and then that way you can guarantee it before they sell out. If they sell out. They may not sell out. Nobody wants them. Cool. Holy shit, I want one. Thanks, Brandon, dude. Okay, so Kevin Abajian says, who's the most famous magician you've created a trick for? I can't say, but the one. What do you recommend as a top street magic trick to do? Dude, really, I say Crazy Man's Handcuffs. I think Crazy Man's Handcuffs is the best magic trick to do on the fly, anywhere, anytime. Just 2 rubber bands. It's the reason I like it so much is A, it's super visual, super slow motion. I only do it in their hands. I never do it in my own hands. I put it straight on their hands, and I do 2 phases with me doing it from their hands. And then the 3rd phase, I set it up so that 2 people make the band vanish, and I still need to film a performance video of that. But the reason I like Crazy Man's Handcuffs so much is because some people, if you pull out a deck of cards, they might go, and we've all had it. They go, "Oh, I've seen that one before," and you haven't even started the trick, and it's very normal looking. But Crazy Man's Handcuffs is such a good opener because everyone's like, what the hell is this? I don't know what you're going to do. It doesn't come across like you're a hokey magician because it's an interesting thing. Everything's up at eye level. And it's so visual that when they see it and they experience it in their own hands, they suddenly realize, oh shit, this guy means business. This is not like anything I've ever seen before. It's one of the best ways to establish yourself as a magician that I've ever seen. And it's why it's my go-to street magic trick. If I'm in that position. What else we got here? More like a £10 lecture essay. Yeah. What does XP thingy do? I don't know, man. What does the XP thingy do? Marcus Rose says, nice. Oh, Marcus, my boy, Marcus, my friend, one of my oldest friends of all time. He says, Breakfast Wednesday. Okay. Yeah, Breakfast Wednesday. I'll show you how to make a sausage disappear. And then we'll do breakfast. Brandon says, Lux, 100% off. Thank you, man. I'm claiming dibs on leftovers right now. Thanks, Bruce. Bruce, go and sign up to the Patreon, free or paid, and you can make sure you can snag a copy before they run out. Thank you for answering. You're very welcome. Mike says, how does one Patreon get booked? So what I'll do then, Mike, on Patreon is I will literally say to all Patreon members, here's a link to secure the book before they sell out, and then I'll just ship them all. I'll put it on sale this week. I'll ship them all out on starting Monday next week. And then that way, if there are, then that way, then when I make the final batch or print the final batch, I think I've got like, I don't know, I don't think I've got many. Maybe I've got like 20 copies left after Northern Ireland. So there's probably going to be 20 available, if that. Then when those go, then the final batch I'll print for the session lecture, and then that'll be it. Gone. Handkerchief chick. Now you see it, now you don't. First breakfast, then out for lunch. Yes. Oh, Marcus, man, I can't wait to hang out with you. It's been too bloody long. It's been a couple of months, actually, isn't it? When did we last go? We went actually the last time we hung out with each other. The last time we hung out with each other, we engulfed 2 very large sausages. We scoffed some sausage. We choked on some sausages together, and it was a beautiful experience. Shout out from Massachusetts. What? Appreciate your channel. Formed him very intended. Oh, dude, MV, thank you so much, man. I'm glad you tuned in. Massachusetts, I've never been. Always wanted to go. I may make it a point to to stop over there at some point in the future, in the very near / distant future. I've always wanted to go though. All right, guys, I have rambled on so much that I think I may call it a night. I'm gonna put my kids to bed. I've had fun doing this Sunday service live. I haven't done one. The last one I did was with Pete Turner and Pig Cake. Was that even on my channel? Yeah, it was. I think it was on my channel. Yeah, this was going to be a podcast turned into a Sunday service live. I'm super hyped that I did it. Thank you all for the questions. Thanks for listening in. Go to patreon.com/LloydB. Sign up in any capacity, and I'll send out a little private link to you all so you can secure a book or the pack for the new DOCSPARA lecture notes that are secretly a book somehow. And then if you're anywhere near Liverpool, go to the Oracle Bar and watch Echoes of the Dead starring Percy Zarkomanis. You will not be disappointed. You'll come out and they're a better magician for doing it. And then lastly, I'm somewhat potentially maybe open to doing a lecture or two before the session to practice. So if you know any magic clubs within reasonable distance to the UK or within the UK, then hit me up and I'll see if I can make it work. Because I'd love to come and hang out with you guys. All right, that's it. That is the end of the Sunday service. I will be back. I won't be back next week because I am going to be in London. Me and Kaylee are going to the Magic Circle. I'm one of 2-star lecturers with Jackie Yu, so he's going to put me to shame because he's a legend and he's so bloody good. But I'm slightly super hyped. If any of you are going to be there, let me know. Slightco, thanks for tuning in. Toast, thanks for tuning in. Marcus, Titanic Sausage. Yeah, been a while, me old chum. I'll bell you in the week. Hells yes. Matt, thank you, bro. Lord, genuinely, thank you, man, for SOS and being a good dude. I have an idea called Orb Weaver that we will jam about. We will jam about it. Take care. Love you all. Speak to you soon. Peace.
There's a beginning. And then
You're listening to 108.9 FM. Adjust your frequencies. Fine-tune your mind and brace as you prepare to fall through the trap.
the universal.